It's been a hot couple seconds, but we're finally back, and we are here to talk about Switchfoot. I have 3 Switchfoot albums on the docket, but the one that we're going to be discussing today is Where the Light Shines Through. This particular Switchfoot album, like basically every single Switchfoot album, has been very well received by the Christian rock fan base. And Switchfoot, in case you didn't know, they're basically like the Imagine Dragons of Christian rock and alternative music. They've been big forever. They've had hits on alternative radio stations, not just Christian alternative music, but just alternative music in general, with songs like Dare You to Move, and some other really big song that the name of it is escaping me. But they did this album, and I don't think it had any really big hits, but they really wanted Float to be a hit. Anyway, it's 12 full-length songs, about 50 minutes, so there's plenty of music on this thing. I might as well just hop into the review section of this because I'm not the most knowledgeable about Switchfoot and the fan base and even Christian rock in general. So let's just hop into this thing. Do I like this album is the question that we're asking today. And the answer to that question is a lukewarm yes. There are a handful of tracks on this album that I really like, but unfortunately, the more I listen to the album, the less impressive tracks, which is actually the majority of the track list on this thing. The majority of the tracks on this album, I should say, just fail to leave a really strong impression, and all are disappointing in one way or the other, minus the tracks that I really like, which I will get into right now. Most of the really great highlights from this thing are in the first half of the album. The first song, Holy Water, like Switchfoot knows how to do a good opening track. This is a really strong opening track. They really knew what they were doing. They knew what they were getting into. It's heavy. It's got some dirty production. It's just got this sense of grit to it that most of the album is lacking in terms of raw rock energy, but you definitely get some of that on Holy Water. On the song I Won't Let You Go, John Foreman does his best Chris Martin Coldplay impersonation. It really does, musically and lyrically, and even vocally, kind of sound like a Coldplay song, but a very good Coldplay song. It does sound a bit like imitation, and that is something that you're going to notice on this album, is a little bit of trying to appeal to trends and trying to appeal to different genres of music, because they are doing a lot of different things on this album. It is a little bit musically diverse, which can be both a good thing and a bad thing, as we'll see. If the House Burns Down Tonight is a fantastic track. Definitely my favorite on the album. It's got that raw rock energy, and especially in John Foreman's vocals. This is my favorite vocals on the whole album. He has really good vocal performance on this, I Won't Let You Go, and The Day That I Found God, which is another huge highlight on the album. Just really good lyrics too, probably the best lyrics on the entire thing. It's very personal and it's very emotional and effective, and that bit of electronic production that is thrown in there, that sound effect, just creates this really interesting vibe and atmosphere. And I just think in every regard, The Day That I Found God is a really strong song. The other song on this album, and there's always at least one song on every Switchfoot album that's like, that's just like, what's going on this song? They always have one, like, I want to say like WTF moment or song on their album, and that is Bull in a China Shop, a song that is a rollicking good time, and I say rollicking very intentionally. The vibes of this song are very rollicking, and I mean that in the best way possible. Now, the rest of these songs disappoint in one way or the other. Like, the song Float sounds like it is so desperately trying to have this like crossover appeal with alternative radio, and like it's just, the song just sounds so freaking commercial. Like, it barely even sounds like a Switchfoot song. Like, if you listen to Switchfoot and then listen to Float, it sounds like they're doing like, they're just imitating some other popular alternative band that's just making generic music that's made to be on playlists on the radio. And it just, I mean, the song definitely isn't bad. Like, the song is kind of a bop, but it doesn't really go anywhere. There's no part of the song that really stands out significantly. And it's, the derivative nature of the song just kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth, even though it's not a bad tune. My complaints with the title track are really just my own. I just don't vibe with the general tone and atmosphere of this song. It sounds like he's just got an acoustic guitar and there's a few guys and they're like at a campfire. or they're just vibing at like a youth group or something, and they're just like chilling. It just has that kind of more raw sound. It's the most raw sounding song on the album because it just doesn't sound as polished as the rest of the stuff. And it's just not my vibe. Like, if this is your vibe, then that's cool. And it's definitely not a bad song. Once again, basically all of the songs that I don't really like on this album or don't love are not bad songs. I can't fault it too much. Like, there's nothing really terrible about the lyrics or the music. It's just not my vibe. Shake This Feeling, Healer of Souls, and Hope Is the Anthem all just fall flat by failing to leave a strong impression, a strong case for coming back, a strong case for the songs standing out, a strong case for Skillet being a band that creates original and memorable music. The songs just all feel like a generic version of what they are. They feel like they just fit so comfortably into the vibe that they are going for. Shake This Feeling with its kind of vaguely optimistic and I'm trying to change kind of thing. I want to, get better. And then you got Healer of Souls, which is, just a serviceable rock cut, Christian rock cut. And then Hope Is the Anthem, which is a serviceable closing track. They just all fail to leave a strong impression. Switchfoot was definitely going for something when they decided to write the song, when John Foreman wrote the song Looking for America, a song that critiques America and talks about how America is disappointing in the most vague way possible. Like, it's just these like vague platitudes and broad statements, and it's like the song fails to leave a strong impact lyrically, even though I would say musically and vocally the song really stands out, especially with that Lecrae feature, who is a big Christian rapper. Not gonna say the biggest, he was the biggest until NF, but he's a really big Christian rapper. And it's just, like, I admire how different the song is. It definitely really stands out in the track list, especially in the second half of the album, which is the much weaker half of this album. So it almost is a highlight, but just lyrically, there's just, like, nothing going on here, really, besides these, like, vague statements about how America has let you down and how it's disappointing. And I'm like, you are definitely capable of writing a song better than this. I said a lot of negative things, and to be completely honest, listening to this album, I listened to this album like a ton to prepare for this review because I'm not super familiar with Switchfoot. I didn't feel that confident about it. And I can confidently say that this is an album that I'm almost never going to come back to. Like, I will come back to some of the songs, some of the highlights. Like, definitely, If the House Burns Down Tonight, The Day That I Found God. If I Won't Let You Go. Even that song. But, like, in general, it's just not an album I would strongly recommend. I think they have better albums. The next album we're going to be talking about is better. I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm talking about Fading West next. I am actually pretty excited to listen to the album again. It's been like years since I've listened to it, but I am hyped to talk about it on the channel because I actually like that album. Anyway, I'm giving it 3 stars out of 5. I think it's good. I think it's serviceable. I just don't, like, literally most of the tracks are failing to leave a strong impression on me. And, yeah. That is all that I have for you guys today. If you like this album, please defend it in the comments. Don't just praise the songs. It's cool if you agree with me, if you like the songs that I think are really good. But please make a case for some of these songs that I don't care for, because I know in general this album has been very well received by the Skillet has been very well received by the Switchfoot fan base and by Christian music nerds in the Christian music landscape. People like this album. And so please let me know why. I'm curious because I'm not huge on it. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great rest of your day.